Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Shabbat Shalom, family. I don't know what that's about, but you know the enemy be enemying. I'm gonna pray one more time. So, again, Father, we just thank you for your blessed Shabbat day that was created for man. We ask for you to purge and cleanse our hearts, minds, and spirits so that we can be worthy of honor and your great and strange salvation. We ask, Father, for you to show us, Father, your glory. And we just pray for all of the members of the body of Mashiach that are spread abroad. And we just thank you for life. We thank you for our families. We thank you for our loved ones. We thank you for the chance at eternal life. We thank you for sending Mashiach Yahushua to die for the sins of the world, Father. And we thank you for having places of safety, for having Goshens, Father, for us, Father, for the days and trying times and tribulations to come, Father. All these things we do ask and pray in the name of your beloved Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen. Okay, so I guess that stopped, so we're back. So, now, once again, shout out to the Wilson tribe for bringing in a beautiful, healthy baby girl, a wonderful addition to the tribe. I'm so grateful and proud, and we love all of y'all. So just thank y'all for everything that y'all have done and for everything that y'all continue to do for us in the tribe. So let's get into world news. World news, right? So I know y'all know something just recently happened in Cuba. So let's watch this little 2-minute video and let's talk about it.
Want to go to Cuba now in the midst of a nationwide blackout after one of the island's major power plants failed, shutting down the electrical grid and leaving the entire island of 10 million people in the dark. The government closed schools, non-essential businesses in this last-ditch effort to release pressure on the system and keep the lights on. But it didn't work. It wasn't enough. It's coming as Cubans are already suffering from shortages of food, fuel, water, medicine as well. Ed Augustin has more from Cuba.
I'm coming to you from the Dada district of downtown Havana. Behind me, a famous theatre, and in front of me, it's just about to come into view as soon as I pass this bush. Hey presto, we have a school. Both of them today in Cuba closed. Not just here in Havana, but across the nation. Not a single school opened up today, not a single theatre or cinema. Why? The country is going through an unprecedented, almost unprecedented electricity crisis. Cuban Prime Minister Manuel Madero yesterday, in an emergency address, addressed the nation, saying that power cuts, power outages are going to get worse. They simply, he said, don't have enough money to import all the petrol they need to keep the lights on. And what they're going to have to do, he said, is take measures to reduce consumption. That includes paralysing, his words, parts of the economy and turning off non-vital services, was the phrase he used, in order to reduce consumption. Across Cuba today, all schools closed to save electricity, all theatres, cinemas also closed, and that will last until at least next week. And then this morning, out of the blue, things went from bad to worse. The main power plant in the whole country, which hasn't received enough maintenance over recent decades, broke down. And that triggered a nationwide power cut. The approximately 10 million people in Cuba, almost all of them, right now, are without power. The Cuban president, Miguel Diaz-Canel, says they're working on it, and it's their absolute priority to get it back online. People here are worried that the rolling power cuts that they've been used to for the last few years, that in Havana can last upwards of 4 hours, in other parts of the country can last upwards sometimes of 18 hours, are about to get even worse. Back to you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the enemy.
So, as we continue to prepare and stay in that frame, what would you do if that happened here in America? Do you have systems in place? Do you have food and water storages? Do you have other supplies? Because you see what happens when a nation is not prepared for an emergency like that. That's why it's imperative that everyone has their own emergency plan. But that was one of the things that happened. Let's watch one other video.
Want to go to Cuba now in the midst of a nationwide blackout after one of the island's major power plants failed.
So this is why it's important to tribe up. And this is why it's so vitally important for you to recognize your tribe. The time for discernment is now. You got to start weeding people off that have no business being a part of your tribe and really a part of your life, because the time is getting way too short. Now, this is an FBI whistleblower. This is what he said before he separated from the FBI. Pay close attention.
I recognize myself for 5 minutes. And Mr. Allen, I'm going to give you a little notice. You've written some notes. As far as I'm concerned, you're the person I'm most interested in hearing from. I'm from Charlotte. I've been to the Charlotte field office. I know some people there. I was extraordinarily impressed by you and the other whistleblowers when you previously appeared before the subcommittee. I'm impressed by you again. I haven't been able to be here the whole time. I'm going to yield you some time, just if you care, if you have things that you wish to say in just a moment. But the first thing I'm going to say before I do that, and then I'm going to give Mr. Jordan the rest of my time, is I'm just overwhelmingly troubled by the fact that no one seems to be able to do much about what has happened. You got the Inspector General, very respectable person. You've done a lot of things that have been historic. But, you issue a management alert. And to me, it sounds ridiculous to say you don't think these guys at the FBI, the senior managers, understand that they shouldn't retaliate against somebody by putting them under extreme personal hardship while they engage in a completely based.
This don't make no sense. That don't make no sense at all. So we're gonna mute this then. That's crazy. I don't have issues like that normally. Huh. Let's try this again.
And I recognize myself for 5 minutes. And Mr. Allen, I'm going to give you a little notice. You've written some notes. As far as I'm concerned, you're the person I'm most interested in hearing from. I'm from Charlotte. I've been to the Charlotte field office. I know some people there. I was extraordinarily impressed by you and the other whistleblowers when you previously appeared before the subcommittee. I'm impressed by you again. I haven't been able to be here the whole time. I'm going to yield you some time, just if you have things that you wish to say in just a moment. But the first thing I'm going to say before I do that, and then
I don't know what is going on with that video. How you go from playing just fine to... Is it this mic? Okay, let me try to mute this mic instead. Hold on. If I mute... Oh, stop.
I recognize myself for 5 minutes. And Mr. Allen, I'm going to give you a little notice. You've written some notes. As far as I'm concerned, you're the person I'm most interested in hearing from. I'm from Charlotte. I've been to the Charlotte field office. I know some people there. I was extraordinarily impressed by you and the other whistleblowers when you previously appeared before the subcommittee. I'm impressed by you again. I haven't been able to be here the whole time. I'm going to yield you some time, just if you have things that you wish to say in just a moment. But the first thing I'm going to say before I do that, and then I'm going to give Mr. Jordan the rest of my time, is I'm just overwhelmingly troubled by the fact that no one seems to be able to do much about what has happened to you. You got the Inspector General, very respectable person. You've done a lot of things that have been historic, but you issue a management alert. And to me, it sounds ridiculous to say you don't think these guys at the FBI, the senior managers, understand that they shouldn't retaliate against somebody by putting them under extreme personal hardship while they engage in a completely baseless persecution over their security clearance, and they leave them in limbo for 27 months, and to this moment haven't paid what I understand to be the consideration under the settlement that's been reached. That is astonishing. And if that's not astonishing enough, that all you can do is issue an alert, Congress does absolutely nothing. In the majority party, not one thing to impose on the Department of Justice or the FBI an appropriate sanction for what they've done. And we have a hearing about it, and everybody in the minority party, they're fearing what Donald Trump would do in the next administration while they sit here and they look at the guy who's been persecuted by the FBI. And everybody in the room understands it. Mr. Allen, do you have comments you wish to make? I'll give you about a minute and a half, and then I want to turn the rest of my time to Mr. Jordan.
Yes, sir. I would just say that I consider the hearing today my last act of service as a public servant for the United States of America. And I'll give you my professional opinion. I was an intel professional for our country for many years, and I would give recommendations, and I'd also look at indications and warnings. So I would offer this to the American people as my warning to them. Since this is a warning to the American people, I say, I personally have no confidence that the FBI will rein in its own conduct. I've been persecuted along with Garrett, Steve and Kyle, and countless other whistleblowers. It is my opinion that the Bureau used reprisal and fear to control the workforce. It has been a seemingly effective tactic. I personally believe that there are no current effective checks and balances against them conducting lawless action with any type of correction in a legitimate time frame. I welcome the work of the IG, but I think any type of lawless action, there's no legitimate time frame to rein them back in. Their ability to overclassify information can allow them to stonewall forever. To the American people, you have a duty as a citizen to vote, and I strongly urge you to do so. It's how you participate in the American experience. I know people have doubts about election integrity, but you must vote. It is your claim. Stake your claim and don't forfeit it willingly. Have your voice heard. My other recommendations are in the natural order. First, vote. The second is the Second Amendment. Arm yourself and know how to defend yourself. Make 3 to 4 friends in your neighborhood and promise to come to each other's mutual aid in times of hardship. And during the Great Depression, people stocked up a pantry. So I think that's a good practice, especially in our economic times, and make sure you have 3 to 4 months of food. And as a person of faith, I'd say pray the rosary, go to the First Friday devotions. That's for everybody, all my brothers and sisters of all faiths, and I know I'm Catholic, and read the gospel of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and live it every day. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for the time.
You know, Mr. Allen, the fact that there are servants like you who have borne up under persecution that a lot of political leaders in this country do not care about is the thing that heartens the American people, and I'm confident the American people will resolve the situation no matter how weak Washington is in response. Mr. Jordan, I'm sorry I didn't reserve much time for you, but I yield to you.
So I'm gonna say that again because I don't know what's been going on with these mics today, but this FBI whistleblower stated that you need to be arming yourselves and know how to defend yourselves. Then he goes on to say that you need to make sure that you have 3 to 4 people in your neighborhood that you trust, and you have promises in place to where you will come and protect each other. That's what he said. That's really a tribe, because you're not just going to do that for just random people. You're just not. It's just not going to happen. So I'm saying it's not going to happen. So, and then the last thing that he said was make sure that you have a pantry with at least 3 to 4 months worth of food. I cannot tell you enough to make sure that you are prepared. I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, next year, the next few years, but you need to start maintaining a certain level of readiness and preparedness for what's coming, because they know. I mean, these private corporations that go under the guise of federal organizations, they got some sinister things planned for us. So make sure that you're prepping and preparing for what's coming. Just make sure. So when you start thinking about it, you said have 3 to 4 people in your neighborhood that you can trust, and y'all make promises to protect and defend each other. You got to start thinking of what should members of your tribe be to you, or what type of action or what type of way or manner should you be operating in, because everybody cannot be a member of your tribe. Everybody's not your friend. Everybody's not your family. You have to use your discernment. So we're going to go to Proverbs 17, and we're going to read verse 17. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. The members of your tribe need to be the people that you trust the most, because your life and your family's lives may literally depend on it. But they have to be people that, no matter what, once you become a tribe, they're still going to always operate in love. And they still have to be a part of your tribe even when you go through adversity. They can't be these wishy-washy people that as soon as one bad thing happens, they drop you like a bad habit. Those are not members of your tribe. Make sure that you can discern the difference. Have to always operate in love. So what is love, right? Or what does it mean to operate in love when you're thinking about being a member of a tribe? For that answer, we have to go to the called out one, or the Apostle Shaul or Paul in 1 Corinthians 13. I know we read it before. I know we all know it. But you got to remember, because when you talk about a tribe, when you talk about when times get tough, you have to know how to operate with one another, how to deal with one another, because you're not always going to like everybody at every specific time. But a tribe thinks with the end in mind. They're goal oriented. You can accomplish way more together than you can separated. So verse 1, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. Nothing. And though I have the gift of prophecy, and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I can remove mountains, and have not charity, I am nothing. So you can have all these spiritual gifts of the Most High, and it's going to profit you nothing if you don't know how to operate in love. Especially when you talk about having a tribe mentality. You always have to operate in love. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. So this goes for all, the rich people that, or the people that, give all their money and resources away to the poor. That is a defense, to an extent. But if you're just doing it for tax purposes, and you don't got no love in your heart, and you don't know how to operate in a tribe properly, it's for nothing. Because the Most High, He knows the intents of your heart. He tries the reins for a reason. Charity. Now this is the thing about love. Suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. So, some people call them churches or assemblies or whatever. The congregation was tribes that came together to form the body of Mashiach back then. It's the same thing now. You've got to be able to long suffer, because a brother is built for adversity, right? So that's why you have to be long suffering, because this is about the long haul. This is about the final destination. Most High told us to endure unto the end to be saved. That's long suffering. And to suffer long and to still be able to be kind. Even if you don't agree on everything of the script with everybody, you still have got to operate in love when you're a part of the tribe. And then one of the biggest things and issues that you have when you try to merge and form this tribe of Mashiach, or tribe of the Most High, right? The body of Mashiach, is envy. Even though we were told not to covet anything of our neighbors. Envy. Because in this society, we have been bewitched. We have been trained to covet, to window shop everybody's stuff. Right? And then we don't really understand the nature and the spirit that we invite into ourselves. Because then you become a canker if you're coveting, envious of people for no reason without a cause, when the Most High wants to give you the desires of your hearts. But you won't humble yourselves and pray. You won't do what's necessary. You won't take the classes. You won't go to the trade school. You won't do anything. You know, and then you put in your mind that other people think that they're better than you, when it's really because you have an inferiority complex, which is really a spirit that has to be purged. That's work that you have to do. These are things that you have to call out. That you have to look at yourself in the mirror and admit, like, man, is this person really that bad to me? Or am I making up these scenarios because I believe at this point in time it's too hard for me to achieve great things or to achieve a better life? I have to stay in this rut. You have to admit when you have these spirits on you. You have to confess these things and pray these things out of you. So that way, the Most High can give you the actual medicine of life, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, that's going to make you whole. Because the whole point of a tribe is to survive, and not just to survive, but to thrive. So again, all the gifts, all the money, all the deeds that you're doing profit you nothing if you don't know how to operate in love when you're dealing with your individual tribes and the tribe of Mashiach. So keep that in your mind. Doth not behave itself unseemly. It's talking about love. Seeketh not her own, because you have a tribe mentality. You're thinking about the greater good. Is not easily provoked, and thinketh no evil. So a lot of our people and members of the tribe have short tempers. Any little thing can set you off. A lot of them are bipolar. Always placing blame on other people instead of self-reflecting and being made whole. If you have a short temper, you got to work on that. Because when a body is coming together and forming, everybody has a function in a role that they must fit and follow. Everyone has different learning curves. Some people pick up on things faster. Some people are experts in certain things that you're a novice in. Right? So again, you have to be able to control your temper, because you really don't want to offend nobody. Because we're really getting past the time to where we're doing things purposefully to offend people, to shun them away, when the Most High is trying to bring you the people that are a part of your tribe. Because especially when we get to part 2 next week, I'm going to show y'all what the emergency plan is, or what one of the emergency plans are for the government in case of a collapse or a fall of America, and how they think it will actually happen next week. So the word for love that they use is agape. Now, I don't really like that word. It's a Greek term. It was used in charity in that verse or chapter, but it's normally used for love. I don't like it because it's also synonymous with those love feasts, right? The orgies. So we're going back to the Hebrew word. I know we've gone over this before. The Hebrew word, one of the Hebrew words for love is ahava. You have to operate in ahava in a tribe, right? Because that's human love, love for an object, love toward man, toward himself, and the Most High's love for his people, right? And this word specifically can be found in Proverbs chapter 10. Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 12. So it said, hatred stirreth up strifes, but love covereth all sins. So all that stuff that Paul was talking about, you can do all those things, but if you don't got love, your sins are not even covered. And so again, if you're short-tempered, if you're bipolar, all you do is stir up hatred and strifes. And you need to ask the Most High to show you yourself, and sometimes your wicked eyes, sometimes your wicked heart, and definitely sometimes your wicked tongue, and help him to purge you of these things, because we still have to operate in love. That is the mind of a tribe. Now, love does not mean all the time, you got to be anybody's verbal punching bag or physical punching bag. But when you're dealing with one another, you have to still prefer one another, especially those that are of the household of faith. These are things that you must do. Now let's get back to 1 Corinthians. Rejoiceth not in iniquity. Members of a tribe, right, that are operating in love or charity, but rejoiceth in the truth. So when you fall into iniquity, when you fall into sin, you don't be rejoicing or laughing at people when they do that. No, we're a part of a tribe. We're brothers and sisters in Mashiach. So we help each other. We lift each other up. Right? Then he says, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. So when it comes to this mind of a tribe, this tribe mentality, right? You're bearing all things for the tribe. You're believing that all things are possible because you're getting on one accord for the tribe. And your hope is in Mashiach for all things. And again, you still have to endure. That's why that FBI whistleblower was talking about finding 3 to 4 neighbors that you can trust that come and help each other, because he knows what's coming. He has an idea. He has an inside scoop. So you got to take heed to wise counsel. Charity or love never fails. But whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish. Right? All these things shall vanish, but love. You watch all these movies, and especially when you're growing up, love conquers all. That's the truth. Because remember, love covers all sins. So you have to continue practicing operating in love. It starts with your individual tribes at home. Right? You have to operate in love. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Sometimes you got to know when to walk away from an argument, a disagreement, when it's not profitable, even if you're right. Right? For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is part shall be done away. Right? Mashiach. When I was a child, because a lot of us that are so bipolar and so overly emotional, we act as a child. We lash out. We break stuff. We have no self-composure at all. Our emotions rule over us. You have to put your emotions in subjection. Because for some of y'all, you still understand as a child. When you're supposed to be mature now and be able to overstand as an adult. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Like not having control of your own doggone emotions. That's childish. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, charity. These three things are abiding, right? Hope, faith, and charity. But the greatest of these is charity. The greatest of all of these things. It's greater than prophecy, speaking in tongues. The ability and the gift to be able to operate in love is truly your greatest quote-unquote superpower that you can use for your tribe, right? That you can use for your family, that you can use for every situation. It is the greatest one. That's what Paul is talking about. Because you got to think, when you can operate in love as a part of a tribe, you can accomplish way greater things, both physically, mentally, spiritually. You're tearing down strongholds from the spiritual realm, and then even economically, because you can do group economics. You better know, you better recognize, and you better love your tribe. Discern between your tribe and your enemies. This whole lesson is about recognizing who your tribe is. You better recognize your tribe. Because so my mama, Ema, she asked me, it was basically midnight last night, like a question that kind of came to her. What would you do if all of a sudden out of nowhere you found out that Walmart was completely in shambles? No supplies, no food, no water, no anything. And then let's just say the whole supply chain is done. What would you do? Who could you depend on? Who could you lean on? Who could you facilitate a system for survival with? It's got to be your tribe. Because family, we all know we got family members that we don't want nothing to do with. Family members that all they do is use and abuse us, right? Steal from us, lie on us. Because they don't understand or overstand how to operate in love, right? Because they still speak as children and they understand as children, right? Because again, they don't have control over their emotions. They don't have control over their buying. As soon as they get money, it's always gone, and then they're always begging handout for you to come and save them out of different scenarios, putting your own individual tribe at risk. Because they don't really love you, they don't really care about you, and they don't really love themselves. Or they love themselves way more than they love you. Because if they loved you, they wouldn't continue to put you in that situation and circumstance. If that was really the case. If it was really about love, then they would figure out how to stop speaking, thinking, and acting as a child. Operating in a tribe is not about childish things. It's about maturity. It's about coming together with a plan with the end in mind. Now, who can see that? Who can know it? Who can believe it? And then who can apply it and live it? You better recognize your tribe. Everybody ain't your friend. Proverbs 18. Proverbs 18, we're going to read verses 19 through 24. 19 through 24. Verse 19. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. People be so stuck on, quote unquote, thinking that they're right, that they don't care about offending anybody. Now, don't get me wrong, for everything there's a time and there's a season, right? But do you have the discernment to tell between the two? Or do you just think that every time you speak, it is that time and that it is that season? Because that makes you unbalanced, right? Who has that type of discernment to be able to realize, man, he's going through something? Maybe let me wait before I send this message, before I talk to him about this serious matter, and let me check my spirit, because I don't want to offend a member of my tribe for no reason without a cause. The problem is a lot of y'all don't really have bowels of compassion for anybody. It's all about you. And that's not how a tribe operates. That's not how you move forward. That's not how you leave a nation, leave spiritual Egypt, and set up the kingdom of the Most High. If all you have is your foolish and selfish desires, and you can't think of nothing greater than that, then you're not operating in a tribe, because you're not loving your neighbor as yourself, right? You have to operate in love, because you can't even think evil of the other members of your tribe, right? Verse 20, a man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Guard your doggone tongue. Y'all know we talked about that years ago. But still, there's people that are so loose-lipped and will speak all kind of curses on themselves, and they just don't even care. It's like you forgot about that type of discipline that it's going to take. Because you keep speaking that negativity, you keep speaking these generational curses on you, on your children, on your significant others, on your circumstances. That's what you're going to get. And then you become an infection. You become a free radical. You become a canker, a gangrene to the tribe that must be rooted up, that must be kicked out, that must be cut off, right? Until the Most High can heal you. A lot of times you don't even realize that you're sick. That's really what it is, because you've been so accustomed to living in this sick state, you think it's natural. You think it's normal. It's not. It's not normal. It's not natural that nobody likes you, according to you. What kind of crap is that? That is a cop-out. That don't even make sense. Oh, I just don't get along with these type of people. Nobody this, nobody that, and this and that. No. Everybody always hates me. No, that's you. That's you projecting that out. That's why you get that back. Right? When it comes to this tribe, you got to leave those childish views, those childish thoughts, those childish beliefs alone. Because right now we're moving towards maturity. We don't have time for that. If you are a part of our tribe, we all operate in love. We all love you. So all those old beliefs that you had, those have got to go. We don't have time for that. Right? Because we're supposed to be suffering and enduring long in love, operating in a tribe. Because death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Right? So again, really, no matter whether you love it or you hate it, you're still eating from this tree. Either it's good fruit or it's generational curses. You be the judge. Choose this day. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of the Most High. Do I even have to harp on that? Especially with the new additions to our tribe, right? From the Wilson tribe with their beautiful baby daughter. Look how the Most High blesses the family structure. This is what he always wanted. If that was not the case, he would not created Eve for Adam. That's just the natural order of things. That's how you grow a tribe. Because people keep coming in, and if you're not procreating, you're not adding to the tribe. What would have happened if Jacob and all his sons that came down there with Joseph decided, you know what? We're not going to have any kids with our wives. What would have happened? They would have never multiplied. They would have never been a problem to Pharaoh. They would have been in subjection forever until that nation of Egypt would have failed. So it's a beautiful and it's a good thing to find your wife so your family, your tribal structure can be whole. And it shows that you have favor from the Most High. You can't overlook that last part, because it says, whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing. Not just any wife, the one that the Most High created for you, and obtain the favor of the Most High. The poor useth entreaties, but the rich answereth roughly. And a lot of so-called, quote-unquote, ghetto poor, whatever you want to call people, they can talk rough too. A man that hath friends must show himself friendly. And there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. So if you have to show yourself friendly, you have to prove it. That's why you have to recognize your tribe. Because we're going to talk about it towards the end. But there has to be requirements. We're just going to go ahead and talk about this now. The problem is a lot of times we don't even have standards for the people that we call so-called friends, family. Oh, that's my brother, even though y'all ain't got no kin. And the only time he come around is when he got some money, and then he really don't want to help you out, or she really don't. They just want to flaunt it in front of you, splurge on all their money, and then they broke, and then that's when they come back again. Right? But a friend or a member of the tribe must show himself, prove themselves. So you have to require things of the members of the tribe. Namely, operating in love. And then when we come together and we formulate plans, maximum participation. The people that show themselves friendly, right? And the friend that sticketh closer than a brother, that means somebody that's not a blood relation, somebody that doesn't necessarily look like you, right? They are members of your tribe. You better recognize who they are because that is your tribe. That is your tribe. It's like it was written specifically for you. But a lot of times you turn it down because you just want to stay in the same state, the same confusion, the same errors, the same curses, the same cycles. Ecclesiastes 4. You better recognize your tribe. Verses 9 through 12. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. So that's showing you, just like that FBI whistleblower was talking about, it is time to tribe up. High time to tribe up. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. So I asked the same question. What happens if Walmart and all your local grocery stores all of a sudden can't get anything? Chaos ensues. Who can you trust? What happens if, the fuel and stuff with the supply system, so where you can't get fuel in your vehicles? Who knows how to hunt? Who knows how to fish? Who knows how to farm? That's a part of your circle. Because this is not just, we link up for Shabbat, we link up on a Wednesday. No, we should be checking up on each other, talking to each other on the word and on plans, and holding each other accountable for accomplishing these things. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. How can one be warm alone? Survival. And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him, and a threefold cord is not easily broken. So he's talking about, stuff hits the fan, we have supplies in different places, and then we can just be like, hey, they trying to take it. And then members of your tribe can come and help you defend yourself. Just like that former FBI whistleblower was talking about. Because again, we are stronger and we are wealthier together than we could ever be apart. We can accomplish greater things together. But who can really take on the mind of Mashiach? Because that's really what the disciples were. They were a part of his tribe. That's really what all these quote-unquote churches and assemblies are supposed to be. Parts of the tribe or the tribes of Mashiach. Right? Because tribulation are coming. It's actually written in the law about tribulations. Right? There's something coming that's probably going to make COVID look like nothing. I'm telling you. What happens if America has a blackout just like Cuba? What happens? You better recognize your tribe. Ecclesiastes 6, verses 13 through... Ecclesiasticus 6, verses 13 through 17. Separate yourself from your enemies and take heed to your friends. Separate yourself from your enemies and take heed to your friends. So in order for you to do that, first you have to be able to discern who your enemies are. Because a lot of times they're in your doggone circle. And you won't even admit it. Because you don't want to be quote unquote alone, or because you don't want to do what you need to do to be a full and active participant in the tribe. I'm just saying. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such a one hath found a treasure. Do you know how hard it is to find faithful, quote unquote, friends or members of your tribe? It literally says it is a strong defense and it is a treasure to you. So why don't you value that? Why do you gotta be like everybody else? When the Most High, He's given you a treasure and a strong defense. Go even a step further. Nothing doth countervail or counter a faithful friend. And His excellency is invaluable. You cannot put a price on a faithful friend, a faithful member of the body of Mashiach or the tribe of Mashiach. But you got to learn how to value yourself and then to acknowledge who these people are. And you don't, those type of people, you don't just let them go. Like, no. You are part of my tribe. I'm a part of your tribe. You got to use that spirit of discernment so you can truly recognize who your tribe is. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear Yahuwah shall find him. Medicine of life? That means you're healthy then. That's a great thing. So it's a strong, faithful friend is a strong defense. It's a treasure. Nothing can counter a faithful friend. He's invaluable. And it is literally the medicine of life. These are the type of people that we have that's a part of our tribe. Right? So we got to keep working on ourselves so that we can meet that same standard. And it's a daily thing. Whoso feareth Yahuwah shall direct his friendship right. Or aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. You see why I said what I said before that? That's why we have to work on ourselves so that we can meet that same standard. Because as you are, or as you go, so goes your tribe. Because it's not a one-person thing. So if I got to work on myself, you got to work on yourself. Everybody's got to be working on themselves. Making their weaknesses their strengths. This is not a one-person thing because we become one stick as a tribe. Right? We become the right hand. We become a battle axe and a weapon of war. But you have to do the work. And you have to be willing to consistently be an active participant of the tribe. Now, what does it mean? Because I keep saying you must recognize your tribe. You better recognize it. So what does it mean to recognize? Right? I keep saying you better recognize your tribe. So the first definitions of it, right? To identify someone or something from having encountered them before to know again. Wait. To know again. Now, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. It gives you an example, right? It also means to acknowledge the existence. So you better recognize and acknowledge that this is your tribe. Wherever they may be. Whoever they may be. You better acknowledge and recognize it. The validity or the legality, right, of the tribe. Now let's look at the etymology or the origin of the word. Early 15th century or the 1400s. It meant to resume possession of land. So that means you had it once, you either sold it or it was taken away and then you got it back. A back formation of reconnaissance, right? Or else from Old French. To know again, identify. To know again, to identify. To recall or recover, the knowledge of. So recognizing your tribe isn't just by seeing it. It keeps talking about to know again. We're going to get to that. In law, recognize means to acknowledge something as valid or to admit someone as entitled to be heard. It can also mean to account for something as real and treat it appropriately. So when you are recognizing this tribe, you are treating it the right way. You're acknowledging that it's real and that it's valid. right? It's not just a regular friendship. This is like a lifelong familyhood, right? That the Most High is really trying to bring together. So if you are acknowledging that it's valid and that people are entitled to be heard, that means that everyone has an opinion and their opinion should be heard. But there's another thing about recognizing your tribe, or just the word recognize, right? And I touched on it a little bit ago. Requirements. Because as you all know, you can't even join a member of any tribe, even in Oklahoma or anywhere, unless you meet certain specific criteria. The body of Mashiach is literally not for everybody. He has requirements, right? And so you should have requirements. And if other people's priorities don't line up with the requirements of the tribe of Mashiach or of the Most High, you got to separate yourself from your enemies. Not saying you got to be rude or try to fight nobody, kill nobody, no. You have to realize when it's time to cut off that relationship, because it's not beneficial to you. It's not. You have to require things of people, like loyalty, like honesty, like trust, like having your back if there's a nationwide power outage, shortage. Don't sell yourself short. Because again, when the Most High comes back, that's why all the tribes of the earth are going to mourn. Right? Because the Most High, when he sends his angels to the four winds and corners to grab his elect, which are his tribe, right? And even that unnumberable number of people that end up going to the land, they're going to be tribes that form into one nation or tribe. But there's going to be requirements. If you think that the kingdom of heaven, the spiritual kingdom, it's just going to be you can do whatever and you made it and this and that, no, there's going to be requirements. And if you break it in the kingdom of heaven that's going to be established here on earth, you're going to be cast out into outer darkness. Outer doggone darkness. Mark 1. We're almost done. And we're going to start at verse 13. Mark 1, and we're starting at 13. Starting at 13. And he, talking about Mashiach, was there in the wilderness 40 days, tempted of Hasatan, and with the wild beast, and the Malachim ministered unto him. Now after that was Yehuchanan, or John, was put in prison. And Yahusha came into Galilee, preaching the gospel of the kingdom of Yah. So he goes into the wilderness 40 days and 40 nights fasting, comes out. John the Baptist, or Yehuchanan the Immerser, gets put into prison. Then that begins Mashiach's ministry. So people always talk about that he's preaching the kingdom of Yah. He was teaching the gospel, or the Basor, which is the good news of it, right? And saying the time is fulfilled and the kingdom of Yah is at hand. Repent you and believe the gospel. Because for the kingdom of Yah to be established, tribulations must come to a full. They have to happen. So you have to be able to endure, be long-suffering. All things. Verse 16. Now as he walked by the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon and Andrew his brother casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. They were fishers. Oh. Charge this before it goes down. Hold on. But they were fishers. And Yahushua said unto them, come you after me, and I will make you to become fishers of men. And straightway they forsook their nets and followed him. So you mean to tell me that these two brothers casting a net, doing their job, their places of employment, can meet Mashiach and throw everything away? Nothing was more important because they could recognize their tribe. Remember, that word recognize goes back to know again. So they left their employment, the things that they had right there to follow Mashiach. Can you recognize your tribe? And when he had gone a little further thence, he saw James the son of Zebedee and John his brother, and also were in the ship mending their nets. So two more fishermen, right? And straightway he called them, and they left their father Zebedee in the ship with the hired servants and went after him. So these weren't just regular fishermen. They had hired servants. And their father was in the boat. But they left the tribe of man to join the tribe of Yah because they could recognize their tribe. Can you do the same? Do you have that kind of faith? Do you have that kind of trust in the Most High? Do you have that spirit of discernment to know when the Most High has been giving you and showing you who your tribe is? Can you recognize your tribe? Because again, they left their father and everything that they had to follow Mashiach, to form the tribe of Yah, of the Most High. So their father's name was Zebedee, right? Zebedee. What does it mean? So in the Greek, Zebedios, it actually means my gift. So they left their gifts, right, in the Hebrew, to go and follow Mashiach, because it was really addition by subtraction. Because he ended up multiplying the gifts. So not only could they still go fish whenever they needed it, then they became fishers of men. So then they went to a whole nother level, right? So that was the Greek. Now let's look at it in the Hebrew. So in the Hebrew, the name is Zabdi, and it means endowment. So they left their gifts and or their endowment. And if you don't know what an endowment is the act of process or endowing something that is endowed, natural capacity, power, or ability. Now, an endowment is also what government and all these other organizations give to nonprofits and to people in need. It's also money, right? It can also be a physical inheritance. So again, they left everything that they had. They literally left their father in the ship while they were working. Like, yeah, we're out of here, because it was time to tribe up. Again, that's what the quote-unquote disciples really were. They were a part of the tribe of Mashiach, of the body of Mashiach that was forming. Left their endowment. Again, they did this for a so-called stranger. Now remember, again, the word endowment or to recognize goes back to know again. To know again. Jeremiah 1, and we're going to close with this one. I got one little clerical error on here, but it says Mark, but it's really Jeremiah 1, verses 1 through 5. Last slide. The words of Yirmiyahu, the son of Hilkiah, of the priests that were in Anathoth, in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of Yahuwah came in the days of Josiah, the king of Ammon, king of Yehudah, in the 13th year of his reign. It also came in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Yehudah, unto the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, king of Yehudah, unto the carrying away of Jerusalem captive in the 5th month. Then the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. And before you came forth out of the womb, I sanctified you. And I ordained you a prophet unto the nations. So before you were born and formed, the Most High knew us, and he knew who will be the members of our tribe. But it's up to you to have the discernment to be able to recognize your tribe. Because again, it's already been written. Creation is finished. It's on you. Do you have the capability to recognize your tribe and to be an active participant in it and to work on yourself? Because as you are, so will your tribe be or your friend be. It takes work. That's why all of those quote unquote disciples that were supposed to be part of the tribe of Mashiach left. When he had some hard sayings, some dark parables, right? The dark sayings or whatever. They left because they couldn't recognize the tribe of the Most High. They couldn't recognize the good thing, the defense, the treasure, the invaluability, right? They couldn't even take or stomach, we were talking about chewing the cud a long time ago, right? The medicine of life that is actually a part of being a part of your tribe that the Most High formed from the beginning. He knew the right people that are supposed to be in your lives for your benefit. That's why you still have to be sown in Babylon. I hope that makes sense, y'all. That's all I got. So, Father, again, we thank you for your word, which endured forever. Thank you for another one of your blessed Shabbats. Thank you for your lesson today, Father. We just want to shoot a prayer out to all those that are crying out to you in need. We ask for you to meet their needs and to heal them from any sickness, disease, or injury, disorder, Father. We ask for you to send us the healing medicine of life, Father, and to give us the ability to be able to recognize our tribes wherever they may be, Father. Help us to be the beacons of light that you have ordained for us to be, Father. Help us to walk before you in righteousness and in love at all times so that all of our sins can be covered, Father. All these things we do ask and pray. In the name of your beloved Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen. So, we are YAH'S Assembly. We are Yehuda. This is YAH'S Assembly. So, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, like and share our content. And as always, until next time, peace, tribes. Whoa.